I think it's good to have the competition. If you don't have that competition, then you probably get a bit stagnant. Things probably don't see the need to evolve and change necessarily. And I think now that's just in the water, really. So everyone's trying to do something a bit different there on different tours and get their tour to where it needs to be. And I think the LIV Tour, whether or not you like it or you hate it, or I think you've got to say it's certainly been better for PGA Tour to change what they do.
I'm Matt Millar. Welcome to Golf Australia's A Few Quiet Drinks With segment. We're here at the brilliant Victoria Golf Club on the Wednesday of the Pro-Am just before the Aussie Open. What are memories of this course particularly?
Yeah, fabulous golf course. Has been forever. Obviously undergone a little bit of redesign and a bit of change there some years back, but absolutely amazing venue. I finished my traineeship at the end of 98. My first professional event was the Victorian Open in 99. I went through 2 stages of qualifying to get through to the tournament, and then never played this place before, and then had my practice round obviously, and then rolled up and led the tournament first day, shooting 66. I think I led with Jim Benefi and Ken Druce, who ended up going on to win it. Yeah, quite a lot of memories for me here, and I was fortunate enough to play well here a couple of years ago as well, and I think I finished 7th. Yeah, love coming back to Vic. I think if you're out here in a 1-day event versus a 4-day event, it's very different. Obviously conditions, depending how the course is playing, the pin positions, winds. You got to be a little bit patient. There's the right times, and then there's the times where it's just put the flag up and just ignore where the actual flag is. Yeah. Give yourself a new flag. Be patient. It's interesting, the conditions, talking about the conditions here. It's very green here and Kingston, which is a bit disappointing for someone like me. I like to see it a bit more brown and running, but it's a bit of rain and that. But yeah, just a treat to be able to play these golf courses. Yeah, I've been in Canberra since 89, so born in Wollongong and lived there till I was about 7, moved to Goulburn with mum and dad. They had some jobs there along the way, and started my golf in Goulburn, playing with my best mate after school at the time. His dad was a really good player. We just tag along, pull clubs out of his bag and drive him nuts, and all of a sudden we were hooked on golf. And then I moved to Canberra in 89. I'd probably been playing for 18 months to 2 years maybe by that stage. So I think I was 13 when we got to Canberra, and yeah, been there since. Certainly I enjoy living there. You know, if you can put up with 3.5 months of cold weather and you don't need a beach, I'm not really a beach goer. If you can put up with that, it's a good place to be. The junior golf, when I got there at Belconnen, and then a little bit at Ioane, and I was pretty much there till probably I got my card in Europe at the back of 2005.
Right.
And it was after that I wasn't home a lot, and things changed and whatever at the clubs and that, and I was practicing closer at Gold Creek there in Canberra. The facilities there were fantastic, and wasn't far from home either. And yeah, so I started there, and then I was at Gold Creek for a number of years, probably practicing there for, I'd have to say 10 years, and did a little bit of coaching there in the back part of that when I wasn't playing in Europe, where I'd given that up. I mean, I always wanted to do that, and I mean, I just kept working after my traineeship. I kept playing in Australia, tried a little bit in Asia, didn't really do any good, but just kept trying to get better, and worked casually for my old boss there at Belconnen, where I'd done my traineeship. And 2003 I played quite well, but then 2004 was average, and 2005 I was just playing good at home and just felt like my game was in a good spot. Went to work, one of the clubs there, local clubs actually owning the course, and I went to work in the bar at night there. Worked pretty hard, working long shifts and that through the night, and practicing through the day, and then doing a bit of casual work in the shop, but kept playing a lot of Pro-Am events and 4-rounders here where I could. And I was able to then enter Q school. At the time, a good friend said, you know, I'll pay the money for you to go. And he goes, you pay me back. And I said, all right. Because it's pretty exy then, like the exchange rate and the cost of going to Q school and all that. And so I went, and I got through stage 1 pretty comfortably. I got around the top 3 or something there, and this is all right. And you go home for a few weeks, you come back for 6 weeks, 6 weeks later. And then I got through stage 2, I think, only just by a shot or 2. And then, I got through stage 3 the next week, 6 rounds in finals after 4 the previous week.
There's a different pressure, but Adam's good.
Yeah. You always feel like there's another tournament when you play these ones, in a sense. Yeah. to me, there's not a lot of those these days. So I do really enjoy playing these and trying to make the most of them. But when you're in the peak of your career, I think someone like Adam Scott, he knows there's going to be a lot more tournaments, but maybe choosing a lesser name. But if you've got a card somewhere and you're playing a whole season and you're playing good, and particularly if you start the season good, you just don't even think about that. But Q School's a different thing altogether. It's like everything's... But for me, it was a little bit... I hadn't been to a lot of Q Schools, and for me, it was a bit, I'm playing good, and I'm confident, and I've worked to be here, but in a way, I'm a little bit naive in a sense here. I don't actually really know all the ins and outs of Q Schools and what the feelings are. So in a sense, it was good like that. I mean, you know when you're around the number, and you do get a little bit, feel like Kramer or Seinfeld running around a bit, but so it's very different. But then the more Q Schools you play, you probably then start to pick up some good habits, but some bad ones too, where you do feel, like you said, you feel like is this the last tournament? Where's this going to go? It's a tough place to be. Played with McIlroy when he first turned pro. I think it was back in 2007 or 8. Play with him there, only in a practice round though, that one. That was at the Dunhill. He was great. He was a young kid, raw, so bad. Really? Incredible talent. You can just look at it and go, oh, goodness. What am I doing? But then, Monty, I played with Monty in the Welsh Open 2006 was the first time I played with him. And we were going quite well going into the last day, and I was pretty nervous because we'd been told all these things about how he doesn't like rookies and all this sort of stuff, and my cutlery was tapping the plate as I was having breakfast. But he was awesome, found him to be great player. He played poorly the front 9, then had one of the best 9 holes of golf I've ever seen on the back 9. I think he shot 7 or 8 under the back 9, and I reckon he left one out there, to be honest. He was great. I always got on well with him after that, and fine player. Lee Westwood, great striker. Adam Scott, obviously. I've been fortunate. I probably played with close to 40 major champions now. Wow. I played with Sandy Lyle in 2008, I think it was. It was 7 or 8 at Dare Manor, and the conditions were horrible the first 2 days. So it was just sloppy, wet, sloppy. He led the tournament after 2 days from the Irish Open there, and he was 51 or 2, I reckon. He could have been 53 even, And I watched this guy as I grew up, and I'm now, and he was phenomenal. But I've been fortunate to play with so many good players, and it's hard to just pick one. But when you watch people strike it, you got McIlroy, Scott, Lee Westwood, those sorts of guys who, and just Ernie Els, and Retief Goosen, when he was at his prime, he could really play. I don't know, it's just hard to pick one, but and that play with Fred Couples as well. Fred, 13, I reckon. I reckon it was when they moved the President's Cup into that odd year, and then they were playing down here at Royal the next week. So I played with him at the Lakes. He was unreal, just a great guy. But he would have been early 50s at that stage as well, and he hit some shots.
Captain,
never seen.
True.
I'd never seen. He hit a shot into 17 at the Lakes. The second shot hit this 4-iron that just went through the clouds off a flat line / nearly a downslope, and it landed on the green and it stopped. After that, I was in a locker room watching some players, like some of our top players, coming in, hitting shots in. They couldn't get the ball to stop. It released to the back of the green. He stopped it to the front middle flag. It went that high. It was unbelievable. It was incredible. And such a great guy as well to hear a lot about him, his experiences. And
the coolest thing is to know these guys.
But he shook hands on the 18th green and said, "Thanks very much." And he goes, "I really enjoyed playing with you today, Matt. Some great conversation out there." And I thought, geez, that was great. Definitely. Stayed out of the
ball manufactured.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, how much it does change when you read stuff about it. I mean, I think these guys are still going to hit it a long way. Simply, the drivers are really good. The clubs are really good. All the clubs are good. But the one thing there now in technique and the ground force usage, the way and their physical makeup now, when you watch some of these players get around, that's a big thing, and that's something I guess you can't take that away at any stage. So I think that's all still going to be there. I'm not 100% sure of how much that ball will change it. I'm sure it'll change it a bit. Yeah, will the ball still go as straight? That's a big thing. And you talk to guys like Colin, I've had plenty of conversations with our time in Europe and that, and you watch him, his ball never moves. He'd see that straight. And he used to say, geez, you've got to really work it to move that ball now. And I used to think, yeah, I suppose the old ball used to curve a lot. I didn't really think about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of curve to my shots anyway. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't really have an answer on that. I still think these guys are physically really good. And what they do throughout their swings and their technique, still think they're going to hit it a long way. That's a watch and see, I reckon. Outside looking in, straight down the middle, like both of them, and haven't really had either of them affect necessarily anything I do directly. Enjoy watching them both. Certain sets of players on the LIV Tour and then ones on the PGA Tour. If you're Scotty Scheffler or Xander Schauffele, or you know what, if you're in the 125 on the PGA Tour, I think you've actually got to sit there and probably say thank you.
Yeah.
Because you've found all that money sitting on the back floor to boost up your kit by 250 million, and you are playing for that and making some real impressive money. Yeah. And does that happen without that influence of LIV? Probably not. There wouldn't necessarily be a reason. They'd probably sit there and say, no, we run things. And so I guess in that regard, it's been good for a lot of fans who want to see team stuff, which I think is,
that's right.
I think it's good. I'm not sure you want to have a team event.
No, 100%. So,
but it's a bit like being at a golf club and we tell you that to play stroke or Stableford or par every week of the year. And you want to change it up a little bit. I think just that element of some team stuff here and there, if they come together, then great. If they can get elements of both of this in the right spot, they could have a wonderful product, I reckon. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. I reckon I'd be throwing my 2 cents worth, not knowing a lot if I make comments on that. But obviously, I can't imagine anything those two guys would do would be half-hearted or probably not top-notch. So,
will you watch it?
I don't get a lot of time to watch stuff, to be honest. So busy, but yeah, look, I'd definitely have a look at it for sure. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? And that's what we should see. It's a bit like the Bryson and the Koepka and
the Matt
and Phil and Tiger, and it's a bit like that. I think that's great for golf, isn't it? But I don't know these days too much about how players feel with each other, but I between LIV and PGA, like actual personal relationships. I'm sure there's a couple that have probably lost relationships with others, but I think in general, when you watch them all, they play majors and that, no one's set.
I don't think Jason Day is not made Cameron Smith because
correct.
One's on the other side.
That's right.
For instance, but I think there's probably a couple there that are.
I think we've got that. I guess that anger and towards each side, but I still think it'd be a good thing for the game to have that. Yeah, just to have teams playing against each other. I think it's great. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think if LIV didn't turn up, what would have changed in a couple of years? I think of them just being involved and trying to change it up. And I think there's any player, you don't look at any players on the LIV Tour and go, oh, not a good player. Chop all their heads off and have a look at them. You wouldn't know who's who, maybe except for a couple of golf swing moves. Yeah. They'd all look like they belonged, and same on PGA Tour. They're all phenomenal players. And I just think them turning up has changed the position of the PGA Tour, because then made them work a little bit harder, maybe globally. I guess, and they've been accused of probably not caring too much about other schedules over time. Probably fair enough.
European tours, they're branching out and they're going.
Yeah, that's
Western Africa.
Yeah, exactly. They've always been keen to be the world tour, haven't they? They're playing everywhere. I think in Japan at one stage there last year, the year before, they're playing everywhere, and good on them. And they're obviously some big names like Ernie and Retief were always world travellers as well, playing that tour, and then PGA Tour as well after. So, I think it's good to have the competition. If you don't have that competition, then you probably get a bit stagnant. Things probably don't see the need to evolve and change necessarily. And I think now that's just in the water, really. So everyone's trying to do something a bit different there on different tours and get their tour to where it needs to be. And I think the LIV Tour, whether or not you like it or you hate it, or I think you've got to say it's certainly been better for PGA Tour to change what they do. Yeah, I think we're just in a really hard spot here. I think in Australia, be probably in the wrong spot on the map. They're so far away from everything, commercially, and that population and economy and everything over a long period of time. Not just now, but dating back to basically all my time as a professional. It's probably not an easy one to navigate. I'm glad I'm not involved in that. But yeah, I mean, could you be a tour that sits there and picks from everything? And I don't know whether that's something that works. It's a hard one. We need to be with someone to guarantee some money coming in and some opportunities to get some good players out of here, which we've done. Maybe, for example, a Dave Micheluzzi or someone like that who's had a belter of a year last year, and now he's found his feet and away he goes. And there's other players in years gone by. Yeah, that's a hard one, that's for sure. Would there be benefits to being with LIV in Asia? Yeah. Would there be benefits to being with the PGA Tour or Deeper World Tour? Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I just think it's a hard one here because of where we are. You pick us up and throw us up where, I don't know, put us anywhere up in amongst it all on the globe with a quality of courses and a climate usually. Yeah, maybe we're thought of a little bit more, but yeah, I think it's very touch and go as to which way you go. Yeah, like you said, you go one ways and there's probably more opportunities down in Europe. I'm 48 now. I'll be 50 in September 2026. Plans of trying for Champions Tour in the States, and if not, I'll try for Legends in Europe. I'm fine for Australia. I can walk on to here. So yeah, I really look forward to getting to this point. But I still want to continue to play well in the meantime. I don't want to pack it up and say, oh, I'm just old now. And I'll keep playing a lot of Pro-Am events as I do to try and keep tournament golf up in a sense, even though it's, some of it's 1 and 2 day events and it's not necessarily 4. But yeah, the essence of playing competitively is still in there, when you're playing those events, because you're playing for money, you're trying to get the best score on the card you can. And so I'll keep playing those and keep playing as many tour events as I can. I've come off probably the last 3 years have been difficult with back injuries. I've been in and out all the time, in for a couple of months and then out for 3 or 4. And we've exhausted all ends in trying to not have surgery, but I had to succumb to that in January. So I had a fusion done on the L5S1 there and a big titanium cage whacked in where the disc was. So I've spent this year making my way back from that. I've progressed pretty well, but I've still got a lot to work on. And the goal is this next 2 years is to continue to play well, but build on that, get some more strength back into my body and be ready for some senior golf in not too far away.